Steve Magnante here at High Octane Classics in Auburn, Massachusetts with a 1968 Chevelle SS 396. Now 1968 was the fifth model year for the Chevelle, Chevrolet's first mid-sized offering, which debuted in 1964. Now check this out, of the 464,699 Chevelles built in 1968, a total of 55,309 were SS 396 models. This is a real one, but we'll get to that in a second. Now something to keep in mind is that this is the first year for the revised body style, riding on a shorter 108-inch wheelbase versus 1967, which was actually a larger car. Now sales on these cars, again, was up 61,000 units over 67, thanks in part to this new body style. But again, we mentioned this is a real SS 396, but it's been given something special, an SS 427 makeover. Now we can see here from the front fender emblem, this is from an Impala, full-size Chevy. It bolts right on. Something tricky is going on under the hood. In fact, it's backed up by the grille emblem, also from the full-sized Impala, but it bolts right on, looks totally normal and natural. Yes, there's a 427 under the hood. Let's take a peek. Yeah, nice stuff. That is a blueprinted, rebuilt 427, similar to the 396, but of course, more cubes, more power, more torque. Aluminum Edelbrock dual-plane intake manifold with a small Hawley-style 4-barrel carburetor. I say small, it's a 700 CFMB, so it is absolutely enough to feed this 427 or 7-liter V8. Good to see a set of tubular steel headers on this one, no cast iron manifolds. Those are good for 25 to 30 horsepower right there. You've got to let the engine breathe. Also see an MSD 6A, boosted ignition on the firewall, feeding into an MSD Pro Billet distributor. No points to mess with, good stuff. Does have a nice cross-flow aluminum radiator, much larger than the factory item. And while there is a mechanical fan, flex fan mounted to the engine, there's also an auxiliary electric fan in front of the radiator. It's a pusher fan, so this will stay cool pretty much no matter what you're trying to do. Creeping along at 10 miles an hour on the 4th of July or cruising along at 75, 80 on the highway. This is ready to do it. Nice to see dual circuit power disc brakes on this one here, the Delco Marine type master cylinder with the booster, and it does have a vacuum canister here which accumulates vacuum at idle. It's a kind of a camshaft in this one. That way we make sure that the power brakes function no matter what engine RPM you're at. Nice thing to see. And speaking of brakes, behind these 18-inch Boss wheels are 4-wheel disc brakes, something that Chevrolet never had on a Chevelle, ever. Well, it doesn't stop us from taking them today. And here we have them up front. These are single pistons for easy maintenance all the way around. And again, we have some good Nitto, high-quality 18-inch wheels, wide and wider. If we look at the rear wheels from here, you'll see the rear rims are about 2 inches wider, so it gives the car a nice ready-to-pounce kind of a look. Now, getting back to the VIN and the fact this is an SS 396, we look right here, and we see 138. There's no doubt about it. This is a big block SS 396 Chevelle, of which there were a total of 55,309 built in 1968. And 68 is the final year for that 138 verifier. 69, the SS 396 became an option package on a V8 Malibu. So you can verify a 68, but not a 69. But this is the real deal with a 427. Inside, this one has the standard bench seat. And a lot of folks are saying, well, how could that be? Well, you actually paid extra for buckets in the center console in the Super Sport Chevelle as you get into the 65, 6, 7, 8 time period. So if you ask me, it's kind of cool. The buckets are actually heavier than the bench, and with the fold down center on this one here, you can either have 3 across in the front or fold that down, kind of like a buddy seat, buckets up front. 5-speed manual transmission in this one, and the beauty of that, of course, that's a T5. It's something that's ready to cruise on the open road. That 5th gear is overdrive. So again, with the 4-wheel disc brakes, the fifth gear and overdrive, this basically will cruise like a new 5-liter Mustang, which is a nice thing, but with the style and power of an SS 427 Chevelle. Beautiful black paint on this one. And again, we see the disc brake at the rear. Once again, there it is. Again, it's a single piston type setup, simple. And behind that, you can see the red tubular control arms, front and rear. Those are aftermarket pieces. And the beauty of tubular upper and lower control arms, front or rear, is that they're stiffer than the factory stamped parts, which tend to flex and deflect when they're under severe load, like if you're drag racing or road racing. And the flexing control arms kind of don't help handling, but these tubular pieces are far stiffer and stronger and give the car better handling. Best of all, too, is the 12-bolt rear axle. At the back here, we see the at the bottom of that rear anti-roll bar, the 2 bolts at the 4 and 7 o'clock positions. That is a 12-bolt, which is definitely what you want to see with the SS package. It was standard equipment. Flowmaster dual exhaust. It has a healthy roar, but we always have to ask, is beauty more than skin deep? Well, let's open the trunk and see. Oh, got to get the right key. That would be helpful. And we open the trunk and have a peek. And again, here's that SS 427 logo on the back. The little things mean so much. So the 442, the GTO behind you knows you better not mess. You got 7 liters on board. Yeah, beautiful trunk. Looks good. Nice solid floor here. And nothing to be apologizing about here. Nice Zolatone finish. Underside of the trunk is all done up in black. And nice car, top to bottom. The frame was, this car was frame offed in the recent past, and so it's pretty crisp all the way around. So that's the story of this 1968 SS 427 hyper Chevelle, if you will. It was born in SS 396, which is a rare piece unto itself. But again, with the 5-speed manual overdrive and 4-wheel disc brakes and big 20-inch wheel and tire combo, this is pretty much ready to cruise like a brand new Corvette or Camaro. But again, with the style and power of an SS from 1968. So that's the story here. To understand more or to learn more about this car, you can go to the High Octane Classics website. And remember that High Octane Classics will sell you this car with as little as 10% down, and they'll also deliver to anywhere you want, place of work, school, etc. And they do consider trades, late models, hot rods, customs. It's all possible. And keep in mind too that High Octane Classics is about 15 years of steady business with happy customers, and they're always looking for cars to purchase. So if you have 1 or 20, they'll certainly want to talk to you about maybe selling your vehicles to High Octane, or again, trading them in is possible. So give them a call at 508-859-4515 and learn more about this 1968 SS 427 Super 396 car. Check it out again at the High Octane Classics website.